What's happening, folks? It's your boy Metal, Tin Man, TNA. Back with a BS sesh for you guys here Sunday, 7/6/25. Replay crew, light it up in the comments. Let us know your replay crew. See anybody jumps into the live. Was kind of debating whether I was going to do this today or not, but we'll see. Kind of busy with some other stuff, but I figured I'd try and jump in and do some live streaming. So see if anybody joins us. If not, give it a couple minutes. If not, then go do other stuff. Twin, what's up, brother? Wasn't quite sure if I was going to do this or not, but figure I'd do it. Numero uno. You're the cheese, man. You're the cheese. The cheese stands alone. Got a freaking cat hair on me. You got that number one crown. You're the Burger King. Raining there, having a beer. It's not raining here, but I am having a beer. I've seriously cut back my consumption of the beverages, so I'm trying to keep my wits about me with all the stupidity going on in the world. So, yeah, I figured I'd, sit down, have a beer with y'all, and hang out, shoot the breeze for a bit. Oh, I know, man. If hopefully it's a lighter one and it's a one and done for a little bit, get normal rain. But we haven't had rain. We had nothing but rain. Now we have no rain, maybe a little bit of rain, or a storm here or a storm there, but we don't get rain like normal anymore. Yep. Yeah, I go back to work tomorrow. Hey, Mama Bear, welcome. Yeah, I'm back to work tomorrow. I took off Wednesday, Thursday. We had off Friday, then obviously Saturday, Sunday. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to going back to work. Not really feeling it. I'd much rather stick around here and do stuff that I need to do. Mama, you cute. You got a man. Hey, Mama, you met my boy Twin. Ooh, having off ooh, having off today only. But when you need you need it. Robert, welcome, sir. We'll see how my internet holds out. Nobody else is here, just me. Brand new modem, brand new stuff. Yeah, I was upstairs in the living room writing episode, I think it's 59 now, of the podcast, jotting down a bunch of notes, kind of delving into a bit of the Texas flood, a little bit in there, and getting into this whole 666 bill and what it actually means, because everybody's like, oh, but Trump says it's going to save the planet. It's the best thing in the world. And it probably isn't, because of what I've been reading of it. Some of the stuff y'all know, some of it you may not know. So I'm covering it on there because a lot of the stuff I cannot say in this space, so I have to say there, which that's okay. That's okay. And if you guys listen to that over there, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, a lot of that stuff, no bueno. Some of it I'm actually going to cover here today. I think I'm going to open up my yap about it a bit. We'll see.
We'll see how I'm feeling. Might want to do it, might not. A lot of people would like it if I did it, but the YouTube overlords, I don't think they'd like it. Not so much, not so much. They say, "Sir, why are you covering this?" And I say, "Well, the people want to hear it, so I'm going to tell them." They say, "Sir, you can't do that." I'll say, "I'm going to do it."
Nice. That's awesome, twin. That's cool. Real cool. Yeah, man. I need to get you on as a guest, and then I can definitely help get you started in that whole realm. It's not difficult to do and set up. You just have to. It does cost it a little bit to get going, but after you get rocking and rolling and everything like that, I mean, podcasts, I will tell you, are different than doing YouTubes. You're not going to get traction the same like you would on a YouTube channel on a podcast. Been doing that stuff for 3 years, and it's a slow grind versus like poof and gain 100 subs over the course of a week. No, it's going to be more of a grind to do that, but it's a lot of fun because you can say anything you want pretty much, and you're good to go. Okay, man. If the package gets sent out that this week, that's cool. If not, it's fine. I ain't cracking no whips here, man. I ain't cracking no whips. It gets here when it gets here. And hey, man, when I got Mando coming in at some point here for our cryptids and Illuminati exposure episodes and the Masons and all that stuff. We're getting into all that going up. Of course, my internet's going to start screwing up. Hopefully, you guys are still there. Yeah, pops up, says no internet connection, just like it was before. New modem, new everything. Still doing it. Bunch of shit. But yeah, got Mando coming in for that episode or episodes. But then I got a couple other guys that have been kind of teetering on the fringe of jumping on, but I definitely want to have you on, twin. Because I know like my typical, I usually try to run like an hour, maybe two, depending on the subject. But I know we could go for like possibly even like a 2-part series with me and you on there. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can just full on disclosure just talk about. For sure, man. I get that. I get that. I do want to give it a good testing. I'm not going to take it out and like use a sledgehammer and drive it into a stump and try and break it. And no, I'm not doing that kind of stuff. That's not practical. I've never done that with knives, and I never will do that with knives. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to put it through its normal use paces and see what it does and give my honest review on it. But I'm not going to beat the living daylights out of something just for the sake of doing it. I never understood that with guys doing reviews on stuff. Why you're going to literally destroy something using it for things that it was not intended to be used for. I'm going to use this knife as a pry bar to open this wooden crate rather than just grabbing a crowbar. I'm going to use this knife to turn screws when you got a screwdriver laying right there, or a screw gun, a drill. I'm going to use this thing as a chisel when you got a toolbox right over there with chisels. I'm going to use this thing. Don't use it for its intended purposes. It's a knife. Use it for knife things. So hard of a concept. Yeah, I like the show Forge and Fire. I haven't watched it a lot. Only watched a couple episodes. But yeah, I don't like whenever, like, I get it, like, things kind of have multiple uses in some cases. What up, Pilgrim? Welcome, sir. And things have their use cases, but like, why? I'm not going to try and use a Silverado and run the Indy 500. I'm not going to try and use a McLaren F1 and try and Baja the thing out in the back 40. Why would you do that? Why would you try and use a cordless drill, as a hammer? That shit never made sense to me. Why guys would try and pound a nail with a freaking cordless drill when they got a hammer hanging right on their freaking tool belt. Ooh, ooh, monkey brain, ape. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any experience with the Microtech knives. Really truthfully, I have a couple buddies that have had them and stuff like that, and I played around with them a little bit. They're pretty cool, but I don't have any firsthand working knowledge with them. So I'm looking forward to seeing this OTF. I mean, this is the only OTF that I have that I've lived with. It's actually the NATO military one. Has the youth stainless. It has that spring. But it's just like a regular Boy Scout knife kind of blade. I mean, nothing fantastical to it, but it's an OTF. It's nice. I like it. My uncle gave it to me many, many years ago, and I dig this thing. But I keep it in my desk. I don't want to get it all banked up because, well, my late uncle gave it to me. So I want to hang on to her, take care of it, make sure I have this ting, ka-ting, ka-ting, ka-ting to pass on to grandkids and so on. So I keep that in the drawer here. I actually had that, gave that to my dad years ago for him to hang on to because he was visually impaired and he he decided he was going to try and finger fuck a table saw at one point, and the table saw won in the altercation, and he was missing like this part of this finger and then this part of this finger, and this finger was all chewed up. So it was harder for him to like open knives. So I sharpened that one up and I gave it to him in case he needed a knife. He had one that he could just simply open and close. He didn't have to try and see where there was a liner lock or anything, buttons or anything. Just slide it, pull it back. Kept it simple for the old man. Then when he passed, I took my knife back, and in the drawer he rides. Oh yeah. So how is everybody doing here today? Y'all have a good 4th. I'm guessing my computer's probably being special too. Right, twin? Isn't that the truth? I know of a guy who thinks that because he has a shotgun and a revolver, he can handle any situation there is. I'm like, well, your shotgun's only good out so far. Your revolver's only got so many rounds before you got to break it open and drop the bullets in. It's only a 2.5-inch barrel. So it's not like it's going to reach out there and have any kind of energy. Might want to look at getting something a little bit more substantial. No, no. Because my shotgun and my revolver's going to do the jobs for me. Okay, bud. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll check her out when she gets here. And I'll act accordingly. Like, I'm guessing when you're saying it's dual blades, it's sharpened on both sides like a dagger. Has a dagger style blade. See, I like personally, if I got one handy here. If I don't, then I got like 12 of them around. Oh, here's a nice, cool old one. This is my dad's ancient ass Barlow. He had this thing a long time. As you can see, it's all faded out. But it's just so old. I got to work on it. But yeah, it's Irish blade. It's definitely seen its better days, and my dad wasn't known for taking care of shit and putting it through its paces. So it's got the little tiny blade and the big blade. I gotta do work on this, tear it apart, restore it, clean it up, polish it up, make it pretty again. Dad was very hard on stuff. He beat the crap out of things. But no, what I was getting at was I like blades that are like the here's one. I got one right here. Smith & Wesson HRT dagger, right? As y'all can see, it's sharpened on one side. It's not on the back. I do like this style, but I'm guessing the one you're sending me, twin, has sharpened edge on both sides. I like these. I don't necessarily get into the serrations. I have some that have serrated blades and they work okay. I tend to not use the serrated portion. Um, like if this blade were serrated, literally, I would only want about that much of it serrated. I don't need a whole lot. Serration's good for like cutting into ropes and stuff like that. But then whenever it comes down to it, um, when you're trying to cut through material and in combat, you're trying to cut into soft target, you don't want serration because it can get caught up and stuff. So I like just having like this fine edge blades. Those are my jam. Yeah, Jacob. It's shotguns and revolvers are okay if you know you're on the homestead kind of deal, but they're not a one size fits all for sure. Try to think if I could table saw. Yep, table saw always wins. Yeah, I'm a fan of the bayonets too. Um, I'd like to get a couple bayonets and set them up on at least on my SIG and on one for my shorter solution. But yeah, I can't find a good one that I like, and the mounting options aren't the best for some of them anymore. So, and I don't have any of the retro cool ones with the bayonet lugs and anything. I'd have to make up whatever. I did have a bayonet for my SKS though, and I love that thing. That was great. But yeah, I like these kind of little jammies like this that have the you can do both sides. I'd be fine with it if it was both sides, but I'm okay with it just being one side here. I do have another one that's ancient. I've had for a very long time. This thing has been through its paces and back. Back in the days of Smoky Mountain Knife Works, when you could mail order things, you had to fill out the order form with the part with the item number and the dollar amount and so on, and the quantity of how many you wanted and stuff. Yeah, this knife came from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. It's a boot dagger, and the sheath has been through its paces and everything else throughout the years. I left this at a buddy's house one time, and when I got it back, it was all kinds of ways janked up and everything else, and I had to repaint it. He had the he he abused the living crap out of my knife. I'll put it that way. He made some kind of duct tape sheath for it because he didn't have the sheath or something. Um, but anyway, yeah, it's like the heart dagger. It's just a cheap little Smoky Mountain Knife Works, like $9 little boot dagger. But I have had this thing since I was like 12 years old. I like it. I threw it on my get home, a little get home Jimmy rig, just on the outside. So if I needed to get a fixed blade real quick, I can just grab it. But as you can see, it's been well loved. It's been sharpened. I don't know how many times. It cuts well. It stabs well. You can kind of hear it's got a decent tip to it. But yeah, these kind of blades like this that have full blade, no serration to it. That's what I like the best, just from my own personal feeling. You know what they say, Robert? I love the fucking army, and the army loves fucking me. That army money. Yeah, those Smith and Wesson HRTs, these little ones, they have the bigger HRTs that are like this size, that have this kind of hilt on them and all that kind of stuff. But these little HRTs are so freaking nice. I really dig it. I'm a huge fan. I've bought a couple of them. I gave one to my nephew, gave one to my neighbor. Um, I know ACR is looking for one of these. He's just got to make his way over to Tractor Supply to get one. They're like $10. Uh, our Tractor Supply is out of these little guys. I'm sure they'll come back around at some point here, and if they do, I'm gonna buy a few more of them. But these things are pretty freaking shenanigans. Sheath works good. Got a belt clip. You can wear it like a neck knife. I mean, they're pretty great. Yeah, there's the two different HRT daggers, twin. There's the one that like kind of looks like this one, has like the hilt on it like this, and then there's the little micro HRT. This is the micro HRT. Doesn't have all that, but it's basically like this handle. If it makes sense, it's like this type of handle with that hilt and about that long of a blade. They're like $25, I think. Tractor Supply, yet again, they have them. Yeah, I was making about the same thing back then too. Um, when I started doing the contracting stuff, that pay went up exponentially. Exponentially. If I made 650 a week, I wasn't making that much money. If I made 650 a day, I wasn't making that much money when I was doing that stuff. But yeah, these blades are freaking amazing. Um, I really do like these, and I hope I can get my hands on more of them. I would literally sprinkle them everywhere like they were like a freaking garnish. These things are awesome. They are full tang. They do go the whole way through the handle. Um, they rubber coat down in there, but you can see in the hole where it is, it's coated with rubber. I stuck on my one I have upstairs. I stuck a file in there, and I like just janked with it enough that I could see it shining. I'm like, hoo, it actually is metal all the way through. Dude, Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I used to spend so much money at Smoky Mountain and Bud K and all those kind of places. But back in the day, it was just the mail order stuff. So my buddies at school would look through the magazines and they'd write down what they wanted. And then they'd give me the cash and I'd go and I'd fill out the order form and then give my dad the money and he'd write a check and send it off. When stuff came in, then I was like the blade dealer. But yeah, that's the heart dagger. But I wanted to get this out because of the blade style and the fact that it has the hilt like the big HRT does. It obviously doesn't have all the cool like heart stuff on it for the grip, but that HRT dagger that has this type of hilt, that's a pretty damn good dagger too. I will say that one's pretty snazzy. I do like it. Sorry, I'm one of those cool guys. I have to put things back where I found them. With my OCD, I just have to put stuff back. So I'm putting things back. I want it that way. Go that direction. And then let's just see here. So I have a couple more little guys here. So on my battle belt, I went like this. It's a Ozark Trail. The other one is too. Nothing fantastical. This does have a bit of serration. I don't care for that, but I'm okay with it. I'm deal with it. I like the feel of this blade. It's small, it's light, it's a good utility small blade. It cost me $5. If I'm out it, I'm out it. I don't care. It's kind of same thing with this one. This is the Tanto style. This one I have on my DMR rig right now just because I wanted to throw a knife on there. This little thing, I like this style of blade without the serration on it. One of the things I do like about these is they do have a 90-degree back, so I can hit a ferro rod with them. They feel nice. I mean, they're like got like a little bit of a rubberized kind of handle to them. I did throw a Ranger band and a little thing of paracord on here just as a lanyard, get a little bit more grip on them. This other one I kind of went a little longer and a little more overkill with, just because if I'm doing that, it's going to help me from losing my knife if I'm having to do things. So this one I'd be more along the lines of like utility, but if I do have to get into it, I do have some type of retention I can put around my hand to help hold it on. Dude, those M-Tech boot daggers are pretty freaking legit. I showed that one here on Wednesday, and I love that thing. I wish I could find like 10 more of those freaking things because they work really good as throwing knives too. Yeah, ACR did want to get HRT. He just hasn't been over to Tractor Supply to try and pick any up. So I'm going to keep a lookout here. I got my brother taking a look down at his Tractor Supply to see if he can find HRT, but I think they're going to be coming back with them. It's like every couple months they come back with a new batch of them. So they should be coming back into ours here. But yeah, I always like have to have a blade around. I'm a blade guy. It's what I'm into. It's what I do. I love my blades. Even if they are cheap little $5 Ozark Trail ones that I can throw away and not care. I mean, these are pretty good. I would want to hang on to them. They're a full tang knife, same here. It's full tang the whole way through. Good solid blades. So are they like high-end knives? No. but I'm not trying to do stupid shit with them either. I use them for their intended purposes, and I take care of them. I oil them up. I maintain them, so they work for me. If you take care of them, they'll take care of you. And I put them back where they belong because I'm not a loser. And I put my knives back where they go. And y'all have seen this guy before. The Prodigy. Gerber Prodigy. This was like one of the last gens that they came out with the Prodigy. This one, this one was from like 2017, I think. They switched it over to the strong arm, and from what I understand, they're going to be doing away with the strong arm too, which I don't understand why. These things are a great blade. It's hard to find them that they're not serrated. I like these straight fine edge blades. They're so hard to beat. Nice thick blade there, as y'all can see. Nice thick. That's what she said. Little bevel here on the back of the blade, help it sink, do its thing. Got a little glass breaker pommel here, skull crusher, whatever you want to call it. Like all these blades, I've resharpened them all. I've reground them. This one I have not messed with. This was like super sharp out of the package, and I've had it, like I said, since 2017. And as much as I've used it, like you can see the handle, it's well loved. I've carried it with me in many weekend outings, stuff like that. I just kept it clean. I didn't abuse it. This one has better metal than what those Ozark Trail ones do. You can resharpen them. They aren't as good a quality metal, obviously, as like what this one is. But they will hold an edge, just not the same as like what these guys will. Your Gerber Prodigy, your Strong Arm, your LMF, LMTs, all the K-bars, the Ontarios, the SEs, even the Mora knives, they're all going to have a better edge retention and a better type of steel than what the little stamped Ozark Trail ones are. Flat out, hands down. These are better knives than what they are. But if you're just using them for like cutting something open, you're using them in simple bushcraft, cut a piece of paracord to trim something, whatever, they're perfectly fine for it. Where I started really seeing rubber meets the road when it came to blades in the cheap versus the good is when it came to these guys, the little Swiss Army knives. This one was just a little cheap knockoff, whereas this one's a better quality one. Even though it's better quality, believe it or not, it's made better, but the metal they use for the bits and the blades and stuff still isn't all that great. So if you're looking at Swiss Army knives, they're not created the same, just the same as the knives. How they put them together, maybe this one is better than what this one is, which is better than the other 5 I got laying around here. But this one still isn't as good as like the Victorinox or the actual Swiss Army or any of those, like the Pathfinder knife, the Ranger. Those are far better than what this one is. This one was like maybe a $20 knife. This one was like a $3 knife. This one is better than what this one is, but those are better than what this is. So just something to keep in mind. Gen X Gemini, what's up, brother? I have a set here I use for sharpening. You brought that up, Robert. I have a little triangular file, little rat tail file that I use for putting hard edge on. If there's like chips or anything like that, nicks, I use that file to work them out. But then I ended up getting one of these cheap little devices, has the carbide and the ceramic on it for honing, and it also has the little diamond type sharpener on it. I also have like the little flat long handled diamond sharpeners. I like them. I just keep this here just for a quick like hone when I'm doing something. Out car shopping for the stepdaughter today. Godspeed, man. Godspeed. Been down that road. Our middle daughter, she used my truck because she was working night shift. I was working during the days. She would take my truck since she only worked a mile away from home. She would take my truck and go to work and have the truck back for me to go in the morning. Well, she saved up her money and she went, saved the cash, and bought her first car. She ended up buying a Cobalt. But then when it came time for her to get rid of the Cobalt, she was all on her own, and she went and she bought her next vehicle. Whereas our youngest, she did opposite of her sister. She didn't go and work and then go to school. She went directly into nursing school. So I was going to fix up my Jeep and allow her to use my Jeep to go to nursing school and work. But that was going to be too much of a task because it's a restoration project. It's not a just quick up, do a brake job, do this, that, and the other, pass inspection and drive. It needs stuff. So that's when we decided to let her take over my wife's old tracks, and we bought my wife the Rogue. So at least we know she's got all-wheel drive. She can get around. She works a mile and a half away at the hospital. She goes to school. It's like 4 miles. That's about it. Play on my that Abaki is awesome. I love those Abakis. They are great blades. Yeah, Robert, I use that one on the serrations, but I do have the flat ones. They're upstairs. Um, yeah, I have like the different stones that you can put in for the wet sharpening. I have those. I have the little handheld diamond ones. I got the handheld other sharpening stones, as they call them. I have all those. I have sharpening steels. I have leather coated stones for honing an edge. I got all kinds of sharpening shit around here. It's insane. I did go and, if I move the right way, this knife right here, it is a commemorative one. My middle daughter got me some years ago. It's a big Bowie knife. I went and I got it laser sharpened and actually had it lasered, had it sharpened up, and it's like decorative. I hang it around. I did go and get my Kershaw Camp 10, my Bolo style kukri. I got it laser sharpened as well. And that's the one I carry with me doing the Minuteman stuff. I would like to get myself like a tactical wakizashi. I would love to have one of those. Be like Deadpool. Maximum effort. Hey man, it takes a minute to get some money saved back up to start vehicle shopping. Yeah, love me some of them M-Tech blades, man. They do have one at Tractor Supply. It's a folder, has a spring assist. It's cool, but I wasn't gonna spend the money on another folder just because it was kind of cool. There's only one knife that I have that I've drawn blood on myself with. And my one daughter always gets me a knife for Christmas. I always get her a knife for Christmas. And wait, thanks for stopping in, Gemini. Appreciate it, brother. I wish you luck on your venture today finding another vehicle. But my daughter got me a knife, a style of knife that I haven't had for a very long time. And that was a karambit. She got me it's like spider web design on the handle, and it's a folder. It's, assisted open karambit. I love it because my daughter got it for me. But yeah, I don't carry it. I don't carry it around. I broke it out and I was messing with it and doing the things and so on. And I was spinning it around my finger, and it caught on one of my bracelets. I was wearing the leather bracelets with the little danglies off of it. I have one my wife got me. It's braided leather bracelet, and I have a one my younger brother got me. It's got the Yggdrasil, the Viking Tree of Life, Norse Tree of Life on it. And I was wearing those, and it caught on one of the tassels or whatever you want to call them, and it went off its orbit and it flipped out and it came up and it stuck into my arm. Literally, the tip just went blook right in and it stuck in there. I was like, well, that sucks. I pulled it out and immediately, it was just a poke, but like, yep, nope. I'm not going to be carrying this one, and I should probably break out a trainer before I start trying to be Mr. Cool Guy with a blade that I haven't messed with in years. Yeah, most blades are pretty good. I mean, there are some that are absolute trash. If you guys see those survival knives with a paracord wrapped handle, like I got one here. I'll try and dig out. Yeah, no, that's not it. There's so many freaking blades, it's not even funny. I don't even know what I did with it. Oh well. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Literally right in front of me as I try to take everything off of my stand when I do this. Stupid. I need to clean this place up. But the paracord wrapped handles like this, they suck. They truly suck. Does it make it so you're not holding the metal? Yeah, but it's squishy and it slides around and all that crap. Like, this is one that I was gifted, a little tomahawk type thing. They call it the Black Ronin from United Cutlery. It's cool looking, right? Because it's got little spikies on it. They're a pain in the butt. They get in the way. I actually had to take and alter this. I had to cut it open here so I could really get this hawk in and out, because it was one piece there, and you had to fight and then try and push the handle up through that hole to get it out. And I'm like, why do that when I can just, cut out the middle and I can just pull it right up and out, without having to deal with that. But it's kind of cool because it's got the spike on the back. You can, as you see, I've used it for stuff. And I've sharpened up the spike a little bit on the back, but it's not a utility type thing. It's just have fun, whack some freaking saplings and some trees and stuff kind of blade. Those paracord wrapped handle ones usually do not hold up, and they are the cheaper metal. So steer clear of those ones. I too have the Pilgrim. I have the Gerber Gator. I love that thing. I have a short one. I have a longer one. The longer one I keep in my truck. Just rides in there because it's got that sawback, and that sawback on those Gators actually rips really good. So I really do like those Gators. That's actually my third ones. I had one before, and my dad and his senility ended up giving it away to somebody. I'll tell you what though, like some of those blades that the cheapy Amazon-y kind of knives, the Chinesiums, they're kind of cool. They come out with some like cool designs of stuff. But like here, perfect example. It's a little hatchet type thing, got like the little biohazard thingy on it, and it's labeled the zombie killer. Yeah, it's kind of a cool little blade, got a little rope cutter and a little fake sawback kind of deal. That's a cool little blade, decent little clip sheath type thing for it here, the little rotating dial on it. It's a cool little blade, but am I going to use it for anything? Not really. They're novelty, yes. Yes, novelty knives. One thing I used to do with the paracord knives, with that on there, if I had to use it, I would take electrical tape and wrap electrical tape around the handle over top of it, just so I had more of a purchase on it and it wouldn't slide around as much and like get all gummy and stuff. Like I say gummy, but it's like a gum band, like a bungee. It kind of like as you go to like chop with it or anything or go to cut anything, it's like squishing around in your hand and like the metal's making its way through the paracord. Nah, electrical tape the crap out of it. Let me try and go back here. Oh, I guess you guys are talking about the Gators. Yeah, Gators are awesome. Like I said, I've had three of them, and they're great. They're great. They work really good. Pound for pound, we'll say that's probably about my favorite machete I've ever had was the Gator. I do like the Camillus Carnivore. The one the wife got me, it works well. It's just smaller. It's more of like a utility chopper versus like an actual machete. Um, Decent sawback on it too. But that's why I put the Survival Altoids tin with it, because it's more of like the survival esque kind of knife to me than what the Gator is. The Gator is like a working man's machete. And we all know machete don't text. So, yeah, I'm retarded. It's okay. It's going to continue until morale improves. Something I brought over with me, I wanted to talk to y'all folks about a little bit today. Something I really don't talk about a whole lot, even though I'm fairly versed in the subject matter. There are guys that are far more versed than I am, and I am an absolute dumbass in comparison to a lot of these cats. But I try to have a common sense approach to this stuff and this subject, and that's these little guys, the ragias. These are a very important tool. Take care of them. Don't beat the living daylights out of them and expect like one of these cheap little UV5Rs to withstand all the tortures that you can put them through. Much like those knives. Don't beat the living crap out of them and expect, oh, well, it was a piece of shit. Dude, you tried to use it to pound in a tent stake. You let it flop around and get smacked up. You didn't put coverings over it. You didn't have retention on it. You beat the crap out of the thing. You didn't take care of it and use it for what it's intended for. My jam that I found that works the best for me and the best for a lot of my boys. These antennas here that fold over, they have the little Velcro on them. They can go up just in case you need to break a ground plane. A lot of guys run the stubbies. You don't need to, you can run a stubby, you can run a Slim Jim, you can run a rubber ducky. I personally like running these when I'm using it as a handheld. I have a deal on my plate carrier that I hook up to the antenna that is a wired system in my plate carrier that I wove through, that I have another antenna similar to this one that I can send up, that it's like a 3-foot long antenna. Should I need to act as the RTO and hub for radio stuff, since I run dual leads, I can use one as my repeater for my group or another group to hit that repeater. And I still have my comms. I can monitor one. I can use mine for inner squad comms. Okay. I have a different antenna for that. So this I was using on my chest rig out doing things, crashing around with the guys here a while back. And this is how I had it set up. Extended batteries. The little beef wangs, the little batteries that come with them, they do an all right job, but you're not going to get longevity out of them like you are these extended ones. The extended ones are great to have because you get a lot more life. They do have them that you can plug in a USB like Type C charger to them. They have them that they have like the little adapter thing you plug in and you can plug it into USB and charge from a battery bank. They still have the contacts. You can dock them. I always label my batteries like I do my magazines, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, so I know what one does what. Extended batteries are good. Don't always rely on these devices, the computer devices, to program these things. Learn how to hand jam your frequencies and stuff into them. There's a amazing book out there. Amazing book. Yeah, homework. Got to do it. Sucks. But this is the number one tool you got right up here, your mind brain. Learn how to program and hand jam these things. Whatever radio you got, learn how to do it by hand. Gorilla's Guide to the Baofeng Radio. Amazing tool. Yes, NC Scout, Matt. He did an amazing job putting the book together. He did an amazing job putting out Gorilla's Guide to Signals Intelligence, too. So that's a secondary one you should probably be leaning into as well. But knowing your way around one of these, as simple as they are and as stupid as they are and as cheap as they are, it's worth spending the time to learn the ins and outs of these things. Notice when I turn this on, it's on. No squelch. I'm hitting the button, as y'all can see. You can see it lighting up there, only because I'm hitting it. But it didn't come on in frequency mode, channel mode. It's not talking to me. When I cue it up, it wasn't going keeping it quiet. I have it too. I have read it, and I'm reading it again and again and again. Same with Tactical Wisdom series. I'm reading it again and again and again. Gorilla's Dispatch, Volume 1 and 2. Yeah. He's also coming out with a third. I'm going to read that as well. But something that I don't see anybody talking about with the radio stuff is they get the pouches that fit with the thing and the stuff, but I never see them put these things on. And the clips, some guys have them, some guys don't. I like having a clip on there just in case. But I don't see anybody using retention. Tie down your lights, tie down your red dots, tie down your scopes, tie down your hand stops, tie down your bipods, tie down all your stuff on your gun. But don't tie down one of these. Exactly. Anything important needs a dummy line, needs dummy corded. They give them to you. I just threw a carabiner on mine just so I can quick on, quick off. But you got to dummy cord these guys too. Don't just stick it in the pouch and put the flap over it and call it good. No, you should probably dummy cord the thing too. But I don't see guys talking about that. They're talking about all the cool, fancy other stuff that I was getting into with the antennas and the protectors on the tops and all this stuff and the batteries with all the charging, like I said. But they aren't talking about retention on the radios. Why not? Why not? You want to talk about dummy cords for everything else? Dummy cord your damn radio. You know how many guys I've been out and crashed around with, just crashing through the woods, doing our thing, having a good old time out there, having a boy band practice, and a radio somehow tree limb brushes the thing, and next thing you know, they go and they hit the dirt, and then they're back up, and I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. Going through all that, and radio falls out, and it pulls right out from their PTT. I walk over, grab the radio, pick it up, stick it in my pocket. Then I hit my radio and I start talking to them. They didn't respond. Everybody else did, but the guy that lost his radio, I hauled everything. Stop. We're stopping. Pull out my paracord, cut it off, sear the ends, hand him a length of paracord. I said, you know what that's for? Well, it's paracord. You can use it for a lot of things. No. You know what it's for? It's for your radio. Tie it off to your damn kit. I just had to pick it up back there because you were doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you didn't have your radio tied off. Everybody else immediately, whenever I stopped and called him out on that, everybody stopped, was looking at their stuff. Oh, shit. Started tying their stuff up. So tie off your damn radios too. One of the best. Hey, Krista, welcome. ACR, what's up, brother? Been waiting on you, homie. But one of the most important pieces of your kit is your radio, with your communication with your group, with your team, them with you. Falls into somebody else's hands, they got your comms right there. So you probably want to tie that off. And as Twin said, the environment is a major thief. They love to rob you of anything and everything that they can, whether it's the tree limbs, whether it's the rocks, whether it's the dirt, the water, whatever. The forest, the desert, tries to rob you of your stuff all the time. Don't let it. Don't let it. Tie your stuff off, including your radios. That's my PSA on all this. One of the main talking points I wanted to bring up was that dummy cording off your damn radios. And I just don't see guys doing it. I watch a lot of videos, all different guys, not naming names, all different kinds of videos where guys are going out and they got a radio in the pouch, flaps over, the bungees on it. Okay, it's good. Where's the dummy cord? How come it's not tied off? Got to tie it off too. Take care of your radio so your radio can take care of you later. Much like your blades, much like your rifle, much like going through your kit and reassessing, reevaluating, looking at everything and making sure everything's high and tight and good where it should be. Same thing. Dummy cord your shit. I'm Metal 01 and I approve this message. Hoorah. So we got the knife talk out of the way before ACR got here. Motards. Dummy cord your shit, motards. Oh man. The hand stings a bit. But I wanted to talk about blades and stuff to get to the point of taking care of things, making sure everything's sharpened, make sure everything's oiled, everything's taken care of, to get to the point of radios and taking care of radios. We can spend a lot of money on these things. How that DMR radio I have is like over a $300 radio. Take care of your stuff. That's what I'm going to get to. But we did the knife portion earlier. You missed it, but didn't mean it to sting that way, brother. guys, I'm calling him out for this. Pilgrim's going to be naked listening. I bet you shower naked. You sicko. He's going to be listening to my voice while he's showering. I can't say anything because I've many times listened to lives while having to shower. Too busy cutting your hand. I mean, you didn't have to go to that length. I mean, to, I make this bond. Well, I hope it's feeling better and it's not hurting, not bugging you, and it gets healed up quick so you can get back to doing the things that you do. Not the Johnny Depp things, but the other things like kayaking and rowing and working the heavy bag and stuff. Get your hand back. I feel for you, man. We'll be looking for the video later. No, we're not going to take his knives. We're not going to take ACR's knives. We'll just give him rubber trainers, and that's all he's allowed to play with for a while. Speaking of rubber trainers, I always try to keep things within arm's reach if I can. I just needed a fidget spinner, so this is going to be it, the rubber trainer. This much safer than fidget spinning this. Just saying. So, yeah, actually came up with like some good concept stuff that I was going to make some videos on and stuff like that. And then, brain happened and I ended up doing other things instead. So maybe I will get to them. Maybe I won't. We'll see. See what time allows me to do. Still have to finish writing the podcast and then recording the podcast. I am looking forward to Whiskey Wednesday this week. Just going to be me and ACR. Just going to be me and ACR. Don't know what the topic's going to be yet. We haven't discussed it. We haven't. We will. But I'm going to try and see what I can do to get one of my good buddies to join us for the next, not this coming, but the next Whiskey Wednesday. Got a couple of them floating around I'm thinking about. Want to see if I can get one of my boys to jump on. And Mando, I was actually hanging out with Mando last night. I went down to his place. They have a really nice swimming pool. It's a heated swimming pool, which I hate cold water. I did swim, did get in the pool, my American flag shorts. But now they got a really nice saltwater swimming pool, and I love it. Love it. Chicks dig it because their hair doesn't turn green and all that kind of stuff, and you don't get that weird chemically and eyes burning and stuff. I love it. So went down, hung out with them, had some grub and hung out. But yeah, was talking to him. He's going to be on the podcast with me coming up. Uh, Possibly a multi-part, kind of like what we did before with the Navy SEALs bugging guide, doing a special, delving into the Illuminati and the Freemasons and all that kind of stuff. I said that stuff before earlier in the live stream here, and my internet decided it was going to go and get weird. First issue I've truly had since Wednesday, doing all kinds of stuff after I mentioned that stuff, and now it's starting to get funky on me, freezing up a bit. But he's going to be joining me for an episode, multi-parter, and yeah, he was like, dude, I'll come up and hang with you while you do a live. So I'd have to like scoot my chair over to have him, because I wouldn't have him jump on remotely since he just lives right down the road. And he has Starlink internet, which is Starlink. It's kind of like the Wild Blue or DishNet or HughesNet version of real internet. Not a fan of satellite internet. Installed it for many years. Don't like it. But yeah, he may end up coming in to join me on a Sunday BS sesh or something sometime. Or maybe even a Whiskey Wednesday. He doesn't drink, but he could join me. He could hang out and talk about dumb stuff. He can talk about how his brother has cinder block hands. Oh, man, the old joints are all crunchy, crispy today. Don't like that. I got to go back to work tomorrow, and I don't want to do it. I wonder if my wife will write me a note so I don't have to go to school tomorrow. That'd be kind of cool. Hey, babe, can you write me a note? I don't want to go to school tomorrow. I'm hot. I got a fever. I got the spins. I can't go to work tomorrow. I mean, school tomorrow. I know I'm going to show up to work. I have to work later shift this week. But I know I'm going to show up for work and just be like, I don't want to be here. Literally walk through the door, clock in, look at my boss and my coworkers and be like, screw you guys, I'm going home. Later, you guys. But I can't do that. I need to work. I have to work. There's plenty of freeloaders and illegals out there that are depending on me. And by freeloader, I mean the invaders. Which weird. The State Department. Here I'm going into the tinfoil Batman mask thing here a minute. But weird how the U.S. State Department came out and said that there was an Iranian terror plot for the 4th of July here on our soil. Weird. I don't remember that happening 2 days ago. Was it more just blown up our butts? Probably. But my heartfelt sympathy goes out to the folks that are affected in the floods down in Central Texas there. That was... there's all kinds of special around all that too. And none of it good. And there's more and more information coming out about it, and there was proven weather manipulation yet again leading into it. Yes, there are natural effects and so on and so forth. Yes, but to be amplified, things happened. And there were guys that were already monitoring and tracking planes and so on and so forth leading into it, that these planes are registered to a company that is public with the fact that they perform weather manipulation. It happened. It happened. It happens. It's going to continue to happen because they don't like us, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a good reason why it happens. It just does. As I speak of this, my computer pops up here and it says hurricane update. Was it listening to me too? Must be. I don't know. Whatever. So, hopefully everybody's doing good. Having a great day, great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever your time zone is. Hopefully you're having a great one. Hopefully you can join ACR and I on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel for Whiskey Wednesday. I like saying it with the H in there. Whiskey Wednesday. It's stupid, I know, but it's fun. Yeah. All kinds of stuff going on. Whether we realize it or not, there's always constantly stuff churning. So, hence why I'm having a beer. A beer. Keeping my wits about me. True story, ACR. True story, brother. Nothing like giving it to us right when we can see it. Hey, but you know what they say? Everything after the first inch is like pure pleasure, right? And they like giving us all of the inches. Krista's getting ready to head out and clean up the sheet metal and install it on the trailer so you can get it painted. Awesome. Awesome. Love seeing those notifications for the horsepower coffee trailer and seeing what's going on with it. Super cool. Super cool. Uh-oh. I just got another update saying that the temperatures are about to drop. Really? Or are we going to be like down in like the subarctic Saharan or something? I don't know. Let's see what the computer's saying versus what the fern's saying. No, our temperature is not dropping. It's staying roughly about the same as it's been. And yeah, rain. Imagine that. We're going to get more rain. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. We didn't even bother trying to put in a garden because as we was like the peak time to get the gardens put in and everything, we were underwater. Need scuba gear to till up the freaking land out back. So there's no point. We threw in some strawberry plants. She threw some tomato plants. She did like some pots for the herb garden kind of stuff, and we kept it at that this year. There's no sense in fighting nature or man-made nature, as it would be. 106 on Tuesday and upper 90s rest next 2 weeks. I gotta say, I don't miss that. I don't miss that. Because I was the dummy in that 106 and upper 90s that was out doing internet and TV and running wire and doing all that stuff and climbing poles and being up on the edge of roofs, putting up dishes and stuff. No, wasn't a fan. Wasn't a fan. Made a lot of money doing it back in the day, but not a fan. Did not like it. I've been in attics where it's like 170 degrees. I've been in on the edge of a roof when it was, I want to say it was one of the days when we were triple digit. I think it was like 111, like 110 or 111 that day. And when I put the temperature sensor on me to go up and mount one of the big pot metal, hot as crap, so you got to wear gloves when you're touching it. One of the big high def direct TV dishes, when they used to have the bigger mast and the two support arms, you had to spend more time on the roof. Yeah, this person had black shingles on their roof. And I think my temp sensor went off that it was like 192 degrees coming up off that roof. That was painful. That was truly painful. The day I moved from there, it was 113. The day I got back here, my buddy Joe that still lives out there, he said it was 109. Or yeah, it was 109 when I left. It was 113 the day I got back here. I was like, thank God I'm back here. It's like 89 and like I'm chilling. Yeah, that sucked, especially like whenever you had to get into attics and stuff and run wire, fish media panels and stuff. Horn Rapids hated me. Like I'd always have to go into stupid attics when I went out to Horn Rapids. It sucked. It's like, really, really, why can't I just get like, something that's pre-wired in? I just have to hook up to the wires and be done. No, no, no. We need you to wire in the satellite to the media panel. Yay. Let's check this Glock out and see how I like the mouth feel. Yeah, no. That sucked. That totally sucked. Yeah, it's definitely too damn hot, man. Nothing like cooking yourself in an oven. Not a fan of it at all. I hate the cold and I hate the extreme hot. Give me that. If it were like 75 and sunny, maybe get up to 80, get a little warm day in there. Rain overnight, nice light rain for the crops and the plants and stuff. Awesome. But then 75 and beautiful and sunny all day. That'd be delightful. But it's not like we get to order our weather. We just kind of have to deal with whatever we get. Oh, what's this saying? What's this little? And of course, it doesn't give me the headline that it popped up on my thing. What was that? Hold on here a second. Just popped up a thing here that's saying something about the BRICS countries. I was trying to read it, but it wouldn't pop it back up for me on screen. But it did say that Trump's approval rating has massively dropped with the boomer generation. Interesting. Northern Cali. Yeah, it's Cali. I mean, living where it's warmer, like I did up in the Northwest there, you don't figure the Pacific Northwest is going to have triple digits, right? But it gets very fucking cold up there too. And nasty freezing fog and ice, and I'm not a fan of that. So you get the super dry hot heats. They call it dry shitties for a reason, right? But I gotta sneeze. Oh, mercy sakes alive. So you go into the area where you think you're going to get warmer temperatures: Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, down to Florida. You go to Cali, even whatever. But you're going to have other weather trade offs to get that warm temperature. Florida, it's going to be humid as hell. Cali and Pac Northwest there in the desert, it's going to be dry. Arizona, Texas, much the same, super dry heat. But there's trade offs. Here, I like the more temperate environment. It doesn't get quite as hot. I love that up here, but we get more rain. And then in the winter, we get a hell of a lot more snow. So that's my trade off. Mainly he's trying to recruit you up to New England. I'm damn glad that he joined that live that night. He's a cool dude. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Krista. It's the eastern side, like everything from like what is it, Ellensburg, Cle east starts getting warmer. Then you get down into the legit Columbia Basin area, and it's like the hottest. I mean, it does get warm up at Connell and up into Moses Lake and Fredo and all that. It does get warm up there, but then Spokane it like tames down a bit. Miss Teresa, welcome. Thank you for the smashing that button, guys. Appreciate it. I did not catch his live this morning. We got back from Mando's fairly late, and we were just kind of hanging out, and we ended up throwing on a movie. We watched Netflix movie, The Old Guard, because they came out with a new one. Well, we wanted to watch the first one before we watched the second one. So we watched that, and it was one of those at the end of the movie. Like, it was a good movie. It was cool. Neat movie. But we were, like, so tired. It was just like, So we ended up sleeping in a bit until Magnus and the cats decided that they wanted us to get out of bed. And of course, Dad, I gotta pee. I gotta pee. You gotta let me out to pee. You gotta let me out to pee. I let him out to pee, and he stands there looking around, going and barked at some birds. Had to talk to the neighborhood and say, "Hey, I'm out here, guys. Hey, everybody, I'm out here. I'm Magnus, and I'm a floof, and I'm out here." Took him a good 10 minutes before he actually decided he had to pee. And the cats were a bunch of needy hoes. Just running, give us our treats, give us our treats. They get vitamins and stuff like that and whatnot, and they get their little kitty treats, little kibbles or whatever they are. Yeah, but they had to get theirs, had to wake us up so that they could get their special feeding and go out and bark at the birds. I'm like, I just wanted to just climb back in bed. Yeah, I don't necessarily sleep in, but like it was like 0800 this morning. Normally our happy retriever boy is up generally about 5 in the morning at latest to wake us up on the weekends. So there's no true sleeping in. If you get 5-6 hours a night, you're doing pretty damn good. Glory, welcome, sir. But little man, he wants us up and wants us about doing things so he can come back in and lay back down and take a nap. Wake up, get the cats all their stuff, and then it's like, they go F off and go lay in a windowsill or go find a ray of sunshine as a death ray and lay in that and sleep. Or, might as well fire up the Cafe Bastilla and get this train a moving. But yeah, humidity up here is working where I do in a big gigantic tin can. It gets rather humid in there. It's not very fun. We don't get very good airflow. And if you're working back in the wire shop, where I tend to work quite often, you end up getting the south side of the building that heats up even more and less circulation of air back there because there's only one big roll-up door back there to open. Kind of sucks, but the trade-off, there's always a trade-off for everything. The trade-off is I can throw in an earbud and I can be back there listening to podcasts and doing my thing or listen to somebody's live and be doing my thing. So that's the trade-off back there. There is no cell phone signal per se, and I'm far away from my desk in the office for the Wi-Fi. So I have to preload whatever I want to listen to before I go back there. And well, sometimes it cuts out. I don't get to really listen to anything, so it is what it is. But that's like the benefit is I'm away from people and can do my thing and listen to stuff most of the time. The raccoons. I gotta go check that out. Gotta go check that out. Do like me some trash pandas. But so ACR and I have to talk about what topic we want to talk about here Wednesday. But I am looking very much forward to Wednesday and coming back here and doing the Whiskey Wednesday. Yeah, I'm drinking a beer. It's, I said I'll drink one beer, and this is it. I had a whopping 2 yesterday compared to my previous indulgences. I only had 2 yesterday. So I'm trying to keep my wits about me and keep my faculties and be more in tune with what's going on, because I would literally hate it if something happened and I were all fuzzy faced and like not able to be 100%. Baby 8 and 9 weeks old feeding from a bottle. You know what? I like that, ACR. Chat. Audience participation here. What topic would you like to see your 2 favorite idiots cover on Whiskey Wednesday? ACR, I won't be on this week. It'll be your 2 favorite idiots. But we may stand in for them. But what topic would you like for us to cover on this Whiskey Wednesday? I'll wait. I got a bit of a beer to drink, so I can wait. There's like a little bit of poison left. There it is. My beer for the day. Put the cap back on that. The socioeconomic impact of Weird Al Yankovic's last album on the indigenous people of Iran. I think the only answer to that truly is 11D Blue. That's that and vapor pressure. That's about the only things I can come up with for that. And that's a real quick answer. 11D Blue and vapor pressure. That's it. That's the answer. I mean, we could legitimately probably cover that, but and Middle Eastern folk do tend to love 80s culture, 90s culture, and there's quite a few Weird Al folks over there. So, I mean, why is Pornhub now charging for John E. Depp's videos? TMT, what's up, brother? Welcome, sir. Why is Pornhub now charging for John E. Depp's videos? I think it's a damn shame. I think it's a damn shame that they're doing that. '80s music and '90s culture. I like the '80s. I miss the '80s. Simpler times. Oh, how I miss them. I miss the simpler times so much. So TMT, I opened it up to the chat, audience participation here. What topic would the chat like to see covered on this Whiskey Wednesday? Open it up to the folks to decide. And we've gotten the socioeconomic impact of Weird Al Yankovic's last album on the indigenous Iranian people, why Pornhub is now charging for Johnny Depp's videos, and that's about all the further we've gotten with that. So I'm not disappointed. I mean, if nobody comes up with anything, I'm just going to talk about the coin clipping culture and those folks, and I will refer to those folks as I don't know what yet. Conspiracy theories are allowed if you don't say keywords. I have noticed that. There's a couple different podcasts that I follow here on YouTube that they swap out some words for other words. Kind of like TMT, they say muffins, right? For how many muffins does it cost? They flip around some words and they have their vernacular they use. You can talk about that kind of stuff. You just have to swap up your vernacular so the AI doesn't get its butt cheeks tight over the stuff. That's all. Conspiracy theories are always allowed. Yeah, in a way, you kind of do need to figure out the code and vernacular that they use in the brevity for talking about different things. I mean, TMT, that right there is great. That is a multi-part thing in my humble opinion. It's a multi-part thing because you have so many different elements to it. You could put an entire show on just the fact of energy. You do an entire episode on just food. Do an entire episode on just water. All of these things you could break down into individual categories in a greater part. Technology from them. That's why cats are assholes. Yeah, well, they say it used to be only 6 months before a conspiracy theory became a conspiracy reality. And the whole conspiracy theory thing, like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. That was like something that they came up with to marginalize people that looked into things to study on what the actual lore was on that subject. So, like the Hoover Dam, okay, there's conspiracy theories and all this, all that. Well, there's lore into this Hoover Dam. People started digging into different things and researching stuff. So then they became conspiracy theorists so they could throw a scary label on things. So, YouTube that goes times a day. Hey, I mean, Glory, if he doesn't think submarines are real, man. I've been on submarines, and they have one down here in Pittsburgh that you can actually go on and take tours, and they do this stuff with, and so on. But yeah, eh, seeding the clouds, yeah, that's currently happening. Blue rain. I mean, it's public knowledge. These guys that own these companies that do this stuff have like literally come out and said, we do this stuff and this is what we do and this is what we use to do it. And their planes have, when they fly, they have to submit an FAA flight plan. Public knowledge, you can go look it up and see what they're doing. They have a manifest because they have tanks, and they're spraying from these planes. They have to have a manifest of what they have on their plane. You can look all that stuff up. It's not really much of a conspiracy anymore. Yes, sir, TMT. That's exactly it. And like you were saying about, let's do this. We need to talk, brother. We need to talk because we can do that in many different ways. Let's get our mind juices working and come together and see what we can come up with. Because we have many different platforms that we can use, and we can distribute to said platforms all the same stuff. So let's figure out how we can do it and put it everywhere. Not just yours, not just mine, not just his, not just hers. Let's make it so we can do this everywhere. Need to figure that one out. Yeah, like in episode 59, I was doing research over the last few days on the weather manipulate English, motherfucker. I was doing research on the weather manipulation and how they've been doing it. I my other phone I have, not my normal phone, my bat phone, I have saved tail numbers under the weather manipulation planes that I can search these registration numbers for these planes and look at their history and see where they've flown, what they've done. Well, if y'all aren't subscribed to him, you need to. You're living under a freaking rock and you're doing yourself a huge, huge, huge injustice by not following him. Is Monkey Works. He lays it out. I mean, he's got better tools than what I have. That Sky Glass is amazing. And I really want to get Sky Glass because I'm all into that stuff, but I can only do so much with the apps and the trackers that I have. Sky Glass is so much better. So he has like an entire list as well that he follows weather manipulation wise and sees what they do. I was looking at those tail numbers and I'm like, legit, they were flying literally patterns in these areas that got hit with said storm. Same over WNC. Same over this area, same over that area. Whenever we were getting hit with all that rain and we had the flooding here, guess who was here just a few days beforehand? So S2 Underground, Krista, S2 Underground. Um, he has an amazing channel. He's on Twix. He's on all the socials. Telegram, Twix. He's here on YouTube's. I also have an email blast that comes out from him. There's a lot of good stuff with S2 Underground. Real good. But the weather manipulation, I can't say that today. I only had one beer. It's not the beer. It's just my stupidity. But the weather manipulation planes, they've been doing the stuff. That's flat out. They were seeding the clouds. They were doing this. They talk about like the sprite or something that happened above the. I'm looking at all that. Yes, S2 Underground. I'll tell you what. Have device will travel. I can do multiple things at a time. Let me do this. S2 Underground view channel. Let me see if I can just share it into the chat here. Copy link. Let me go to me because I don't trust trying to use this. I'm using 5G here. There you go. There you go. Got it. Birds aren't real. Yeah, right. Yeah, birds aren't real. If you like conspiracy stuff, the Ninjas Are Butterflies, great show. Same with like the 21 CD, Jonathan, great show. Confessionals with Tony Merkel. Obviously Blurry Creatures, great show. But S2 Underground, he's got a great channel for like a sit rep of what's going on and so on and so forth. Brings up maps like his one from yesterday. DJ Metalhead sent it to me, and I'm like, dude, I got the notification for it. It popped up, and since I was down at Mando's, I was like, I just swiped it away. I didn't see what it was when I was like trying to clear notifications on my phone. And he sent it to me like, thank you, dude. Like, you don't even know that you like helped me out because I swiped away the notification for that. I would have totally forgot to watch it as like a 20-minute video, but he goes in depth and actually brings up the maps and shows things on the maps, which is really cool. Glory, don't you have chickens? I like chickens, Eddie. But yeah, I mean, you get into the conspiracy stuff. It's not really so much conspiracy as it is trying to find more knowledge. We have questions. We are seeking answers. For real. Pilgrim hit the nail on the head right there. There are birds that are engineered, that their eyes see and broadcast and so on and whatever. There have been many people out there that like they're seeing this bird and it's just sitting there watching them and stuff, and like somebody comes and like pops the damn thing with a BB gun or something and it falls out of the tree, and it's not a bird. It's actually a freaking robotic thing. There are tons of videos out there of people doing that kind of stuff and like pulling these things apart and looking at it like, this isn't a real freaking bird. This is like a freaking robot thing. So kind of tend to think that birds are real, but not all birds are birds. But yes, I bazillion percent agree, Pilgrim. S2 is like CIA level. He covers stuff very well. Very well. Like we see excuse me, we see planes that fly over. Not all of them will transmit that you can open an app on your phone or go to a website or even like Skyglass or something like that and even see them transmitting because they don't have their transponder turned on. We have a facility about 40 miles north of us that repairs Blackhawks and Little Birds and Apaches and Apache longbows and a bunch of helicopters. And then they take them out on test flights. They fly them all around the area, doing all kinds of stuff. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, it's a military helicopter." It's just Black Hawk. If you look at most of them, they actually have like the cross on them, and they're medical evac. But they aren't transmitting. We have that issue here with our MedStars, like our life flight type helicopters. They don't transmit. So you can't pull them up on your device and see that that's what they are. There's tons of stuff that flies around that does not transmit who they are, what they're about. Beyond that, there's stuff that we don't see that's up there doing its thing, that's picking up stuff on us that we never even know. Prime example, MonkeyWorks talks about them, R135. Those suckers can lock into a signal and track something the size of a soccer ball from like 300 miles away. That's on an R135 spy bird. Then you get into like the BE320s that are smaller birds, but they have a pretty granular electronic suite on them. That they are smaller, they fly lower, but they can pick up more faster than what the R135 can from the distance. Obviously, because they're closer to the target. Then you got smaller ones than that. BE320s aren't very big, but they can get a lot of data. They have those balloons that they fly up at like 92,000 feet or something, some ridiculous altitude. Those suckers can allegedly pull like a crap ton over a massive area. Don't know specifically what data they're trying to farm, but they farm it. And you would think with all of this stuff, they would be able to use these more. And I think they do. We just don't know about it. I think they use this kind of stuff way more than what we could imagine. But there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, okay, here's another example. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Q4 Global Hawks, right? They're a surveillance bird. We had one up, was it yesterday? I think it was, flying over like off of Japan. Like they launch them up out of Okinawa and stuff like that, and they'll fly around and do like their patterns and stuff over there, and then they land. We had another one pop up yesterday and flying around. One of my buddies saw it and was like, "Hey man, is this like what the hell?" I'm like, "No, they'll take it up and they fly it around, stretch its legs and do all that kind of stuff." Like people will see the B2 bombers going up, they'll see B1s, they'll see B-52s flying around here in the US and be like, "Oh my gosh." It's equipment. You got to run it. You got to fly. ACR, have a great family call. You take care, brother, and we'll be talking, man. But like the if you see a plane up, doesn't mean that like, "Oh my gosh, it's doomsday." No, it's equipment. You got to take it up and you got to fly it. You got to stretch its legs. You got to put it through the paces. You got to, go out and drive the old muscle car around the block a couple times or take it to go get ice cream or something just to run it, right? Same kind of thing with planes. Just because a plane's up doesn't mean that, "Oh my gosh, it's doomsday. They're flying the doomsday plane from here to there. Oh my gosh." Well, they keep doomsday planes out there close to TMT's area, out there around Lincoln, Nebraska. They have doomsday plane and they have a hangar with a couple of them actually. See them up in there, they're flying around. Doesn't mean that it's doomsday. It means that they're flying that aircraft. People get kind of worked up over that stuff, but you gotta like think, well, they gotta work this stuff out too. But when it comes to the drones, we do see a lot more of the smaller scale stuff and stuff that people don't know. Like, okay, unless you get into planes like I do, you probably don't know what a BE-320 is. Probably don't know the difference between an R-135 and a W-135 or a C-135 or a KR-35. I know the difference between them. I know what to look for. I'm in that world. That's one of my hobbies is bird watching like that. Bird watching, not the kind. But people don't know that, it's just some guy up there flying around in a plane. Well, is it? Is it really? Because I can't pull them up on my flight tracker, which I can pull most stuff up on it. I can't see where there's a plane there, but I physically look up here and I see this plane, but it's not showing up here, and it should be, but it's not. But why? I thought it was illegal to fly without having a flight plan filed. What do I know? What do I know? I'm just a domesticated moron. So now there's all kinds of spying going on, all kinds of watching and looky-loo stuff. So hey, maybe we'll dive into that on Wednesday. Maybe we'll dive a little bit more into that stuff on Wednesday. Because it's not just the planes and the helicopters and all that kind of stuff. There's boats that do that stuff too. And ACR knows the boat aspect of things, I'm sure, being a coastie. So at least I know my one coastie buddy up here. He knows quite a bit about the boats. So maybe that's something he can talk to, and I can talk to the bird aspect of things. I don't know. Not bird, like tweeting. No, I'm talking about like planes and helicopters and stuff. But maybe that's something we can tackle. I don't know. I'll wrap with him later and we'll figure it out. But I do totally agree with ACR and the fact of diverging from like the typical type topics. Like that is something we had talked about a while back, is try and get away from like the typical, like we had talked with Gen X on the fact of everybody has the get home bag, but you have to have a get home plan, right? Kind of sidestepping stuff for a bit here because it's easy to get caught in the wash, rinse, repeat type crap. So maybe we will dive into, surveillance type stuff. I got a bit of a sunburn. It's just like at the itchy point. Like, I don't know if y'all can see it. Like right here's the line. Yeah, it's kind of itchy. Yeah. But, and definitely want to get with TMT so we can figure out that package, if you will, of the homesteading life and how to break free of the matrix. That I think would be cool because there's a lot of different things to talk about in that. That's like an all-encompassing type thing right there. So I think that would be a really cool series. Not just one live, but a series to cover. And should be something that anybody can get from anywhere. We should put it in a format that we can do here on this channel, ACR. Any of y'all can grab it and throw on your channels. I'll put it on podcasts, throw it up on Podbean, on Rumble, throw it out on, like I can throw it on Spotify. We can all like distribute it everywhere because it's good information that everybody should know what's what with it. And I think that's like the ultimate fear of the overlords in the realm is that people break free from the control. They break free from the matrix. They break free of the This is what you listen to. This is what you watch. This is what you think. This is what you feel. This man says do this, so what must worship at the flashing magic box? Yes, is good. Yay. Their fear is people breaking away from all that and free thinking and doing for themselves, taking care of themselves, helping take care of each other. They don't want us to come together and work on things. They want us to bow down to them. I'm not bowing. Not bowing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Not going to bow. I kneel before the cross and I stand for the flag. That's that. Love it. Hate it. Leave the channel. I don't care. I don't care. Get your butt cheeks tight. Get them tight today. Got your pucker powder right here, fool. I don't care. If you go about 7-8 miles that way, there's a tree. That's where you can go to F yourself. I don't care. Exactly, Glory. Exactly. Exactly what I said. But to each their own. If you like to suckle at the teat of Big Daddy, then by all means, you go do that. But don't crap on me and my folk for not doing that, taking care of ourselves, doing our own, and disagreeing with the fact that you're trying to ruin things for everybody else. Not going to do it. I'm not going to. No. I don't believe in a lot that is happening in this, in the previous, and the previous, and the previous, and the previous administrations of our so-called little G. Y'all listen to the podcast, you know what the little G is. I don't believe they're acting in the interests of we the people. I'll tackle one aspect, as I call it, the 666 bill. Okay, I'm going to tackle one aspect for you guys here. It's a little bit. I've kind of touched on it. I touched on it a little bit on Wednesday when I started breaking out the Tin Man tinfoil. But let's talk the Second Amendment aspect of things, okay? And some people will agree, some people will disagree. That is your right. That is your choice. I just ain't. I just ain't rocking with what's going on. We keep hearing promises made, promises kept. Right? There's a certain crowd, the Mells, but Metal. That's those guys, right? They keep saying promises made, promises kept. Metal. This is what I voted for. Did you? Did you really, big guy? Did you? Because I don't think you did. Here's what it is. We're told going to repeal the NFA, disband the ATF, disband the FBI, going to do all this, and Cash Me Outside's going to do this, and Vote on Blondie's going to do that, right? And the charismatic carrot's going to do this, or he's going to do that, and it's going to no income tax. I'm doing away with it. I'm getting rid of it. No tax on tips. No, none of that, right? But then there is, and even though they got their BBB, Build Back Better. Wait, I mean, Big Beautiful Bill. Oh, no, change it again. One Big Beautiful Bill. So it's 0666 instead. No. What they do is they take and they make stipulations to this. There's always trade-off. Always a trade-off, like I said, with weather and climate. Hot area, but then you're going to have dry this, or you're going to be in a more temperate environment, but you're going to have more snow or whatever, right? In this situation, we had, okay, the short act in the HPA, right? good things. NFA shouldn't even exist. Best we can do, because we can't hear that. We can't do that in this bill because it's a reconciliation bill. Best we can do is remove the $200 tax stamp. But we're still going to register and do all the checks and do all this and do all that. And you're still going to have to follow what the Crown says. But you're not going to have to pay the $200 tax stamp. Picture John Travolta from Pulp Fiction, like, because it's a reconciliation bill, which is bullshit. Total bullshit. It doesn't belong in here because it's reconciliation. Bullshit. You need to reconcile, the little g needs to reconcile with we the people, because that whole thing is an infringement. Thusly, it needs to be reconciled with the American people. So needed to be in there. It was a legitimate, should have been handled, should have been short act, HPA should have been part of that. Not just, oh, best we can do is take away the $200. Really? Really? Got nothing. Got nothing. But we're going to praise us for it. Why? Why? Govern me harder, Daddy. I just want, give it to me harder. Like, vote. Yeah, vote. I'm going to vote so freaking hard. Gotta vote harder. Vote harder, Metal. You won. How you voting harder? Here's where I look at it, Glory. How many years did our country exist before the ATF became a thing? We had alcohol, we had tobacco, we had firearms before they existed. I just think it was a way for them to get their fingers into the pot, because if a federal agency is involved, which is going to bring me back around to the rest of the Second Amendment portion of it, if a federal agency is involved, they get their tentacles into it, and they get to work, and then they think that they make the law. They think that they control the law. They get to say what's what, which gets me into this other aspect of things. Well, each state has their own constitutions, right? Okay. So the states get to say, right? States' rights, they get to say without federal involvement. Constitution, we have the Bill of Rights, right? Bill of Rights. Federally protected rights. Being an American. Shall not be infringed, is what it says when it comes to the Second Amendment at the federal level. When it comes to my own state, PA, it says shall not be questioned. Okay. Shall not be questioned. Yet. They question the living crap out of it, and they infringe the living crap out of it. Shouldn't matter if it's a suppressor. Shouldn't matter what length the barrel is. If you have a hand stop, you got a brace on it. You got a 75 round drum. You got a belt fed, whatever. Should not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Pretty simple. Here in the state of Pennsylvania, shall not be questioned. However, it's always infringed and it's always questioned. Why? It's supposed to be a federally protected thing, and the state cannot take and say, okay, well, it's federally protected, but you know what? We're going to make it so you can only have 7 rounds in your magazine. You can only have a 46-inch barrel on your gun. You can't have a stock. You can't put your thumb around the the grip. You have to have a blade there that you can't put your thumb around it and grip it. They're infringing even further than what the feds are. So states are supposed to secure and protect the rights of the people, as the feds are supposed to secure and protect the rights of the people, yet they do none of it. They infringe upon the rights of the people. And I'm just using the Second Amendment as a like simple, easy thing because we all like our guns here. Why is it that, okay, New York and Cali, you can only have a 10-round magazine, or it's got to be a fixed magazine, or you can't have a grip, or you can't have this, or you can't have that. You can. Since when does the crown get to say that shall not be infringed, which is supposed to be protected, yet it's not? State level, supposed to be protected, yet it's not. They question and infringing here too. Why is it we let it get to that? Why is it we just turned a blind eye to it and just became complacent in the fact of, oh, they treading. Like, I got my Gadsden flag here. Don't tread on me. Well, oh, Lord, they treading. Right? They definitely treading. Why is it we let it get to that? Why do people think that, okay, because the HPA and the Short Act didn't pass the sniff test for the 666 bill, doggone it, we're gonna take them to court. Like, from what I was understanding, GOA dropped the ball in all that, and now they're filing lawsuits against the feds for taking it out, and they're going after those two things specifically now. The HPA and the Short Act, they're going specifically after them now. But why should they have to? Why should they have to? They shouldn't. They shouldn't have to. Shall not be infringed was already in the Bill of Rights, which should be protected. Here in my state level, shall not be questioned. It's already protected in the state level. So then why is it that you can only have this, you can only have that? It has to be a braced. It can't be a stock. Anything under this is considered a pistol. Anything over this is considered a rifle. They start getting them tentacles all involved, and they start muddying the waters, because then it's open to interpretation. Then you got guys running around with a tape measure, measuring everybody's barrels. Hey, is that a fixed brace, or can you move that? Because it's more dangerous if it fits your body. You know, if you can tuck it up in there and get a good shoulder weld on it to make a more stable shooting platform to be more accurate, that's dangerous. If you can grip the whole way around the pistol grip there and you can get a good grip on it, nice stable grip, that's more dangerous. Not that it's more stable and safe, no, because I'm not a big guy. I'm not like the size of like Andrew or Twin. Twin's 6'9", right? He's a foot taller than me, right? His arms are far longer than mine. My arms are probably longer than Krista's. You make it fit the person. Seatbelts are adjustable, right? You adjust the seatbelt to fit the person. Car seats. They want to talk about car seats. You got to have the right car seat for the right size kid, right? Same kind of thing. You want that rifle to fit the person that's shooting it. My wife's not going to be able to have the stock all the way out on a rifle and the grip way out front. You know, she's going to have to make it adjust to her so she can shoot it. A full-size freaking Glock is not going to fit the same in Twin's hand as it does in my hands, as it does in my daughter's hand, right? A G19 is going to be tiny in his hand. It's going to be perfect in my hand. It's still a little big in her hand. A G43, you're not even going to see it in Twin's hand. It's going to be tiny in my hand, and it's going to fit her hand perfectly. Much the same with the guns. Much the same with the rifles and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to have people go around, oh, you can't do that. I'm the authority on that. Can't do that. Can't have that. No. Can't have that. that's where it gets like so clustered, and it's by design. That whole divide and conquer thing and the chaos. Welcome to the chaos. That chaos that has us questioning all this stuff and like, oh, I can't do that, but I can do this. I can't do that, but I can do this. I can do this, but I can't do that. Well, if I want that, then I have to move to a different state. It's already federally protected. Why are you going to have to move to another state when it should be federally protected anyway? They're to secure the rights and to protect the fundamental rights in the Bill of Rights, not create more government to get their fingers in there and play games with it. Simple, but our country existed for, like I said, country existed for how many years with alcohol, tobacco, and firearms without having an ATF? Should there be some kind of safety regulation? Yeah, probably, to make sure that stuff isn't like not working properly. Yeah, there should be some kind of, you know, firearms industry standard that it has to meet this standard to be safe for the user. ACR took off. Pilgrim, he went out to he had his family Zoom call, so he had to go join that. Okay. Little caveat here. Krista threw me. I don't like government overreach either in any aspect. I don't like government overreach at all. Like she said, they think they know the best for every single person when they can't even manage their own lives. So very true. So very true. Now, in New York, back to New York here. You got the Zohan Mondani, who's tied to the BO, who's tied to the Muzzy Brohood, who's also, I kind of have some feelings that he might actually even also be tied to the special intelligence coming out of the small hat folk. That's one of the names I'm not going to say on here because can't do that because the scary overlords might take me down. But I think he's got some ties there too. He is pushing for governmental stores, governmental healthcare, governmental every aspect of everything. He's being groomed by the same war camp that BO was involved with. So you're going to see a rise with him, much like you did BO over in Chicago, right? They're grooming him. Mark my words. Like, put that up on the calendar, pin it to the wall. Metal said they are grooming him to be the next BO. Okay. He's pushing for this governmental stuff. When was the last time you saw anything government that was ran, operated, and ended up better than what the citizenry of the United States could do? There's that whole national debt that just keeps going up. They never cut spending. They just keep adding to it. Why? But Krista, they said that's safe and effective. It's safe and effective. They don't want nothing bad to happen to us. Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. None of that's coming around. Not going there with those folks. Mm-mm. You guys can call you call her Sister Krista, but you could also call her Mrs. Doubtfisor. No, and I totally agree. Totally agree. Won't touch any of that stuff. I had bad reactions in the past for flu vaccines and stuff, but nope, no more. Done. None of it. I want to, if a medical staff is putting something into my being, either my wife or myself are reading it, and we are going to see what it is that is going into our bodies first before anything goes in. I am known for some off the wall good ones here and there. I kind of like that one, Mrs. Doubtfire. But no, I won't. Mm-mm. Like I've gotten away from like a lot of different types of food and drinks and stuff like that just because like I ain't jiving with anything that they're putting out there. No bueno in my books. But no, I could literally sit here all day long and talk about all this stuff, but I do it in another platform that y'all can just put in an earbud and just go with. You don't get to see all the theatrics and my hand waving like a macho man, Randy Savage or anything, you know. Isn't that crazy, Krista? Isn't it? And it's just crazy. Weird. But what's really weird too is the fact that I never had the flu in my life until after I got a flu vaccine. I never had pneumonia until after I got, because I worked for the hospital and they force that and they do all that just like they did with the Charlie 19er. They forced that on us. And yeah, didn't had no issues with pneumonia or flu or any of that stuff until after I got their last batch before the Charlie 19er. Weird. What's crazy is my friends that have kids that don't have any of that crap all are mentally and physically like perfect, like super smart, super articulate, like their dexterity, their learning capability is far beyond the kids that have that stuff in their bodies. Really weird. What happened with me is they decided the company I worked for was a subsidiary of the hospital. And I had worked for UPMC. They had taken over our community hospital. They decided that they were going to shut down our division of what we did: home medical, oxygen technician, respiratory, all that. They were shutting us down and they were going to bring in their company, as you see me air quote, that does the same stuff. Basically, we'd just be changing banners and we'd have different uniforms and different vehicle banner wraps and all that stuff. We'd all still be there. Everything's fine. Then, about 2 months out, well, we're not going to be doing all the stuff that we were doing upstairs with the walk in store like it was. We're still going to need the warehouse. We're still going to need technicians. We're just not going to have as many people working upstairs. But we're going to take those people into the hospital and they can come work for the hospital. Okay. About 2 weeks out, right before Christmas, we're told that, no, I'm sorry, about a month before, we were told it was right after Thanksgiving. We were told we have to get our flu shots. We have to get all these shots and all this stuff because we're all out and we all need weird. But we all had to go get this stuff. Otherwise, they're going to let us go. Okay. Fought it. Nope. If you don't do it, you're gone. All right. Well, I got sick of shit, but ended up doing it 2 weeks before they decided they were closing the doors, period, getting rid of all of us. And they're just going to cover our area out of another area, which our patients went absolutely berserk. They did not want them coming in because they already had, some of them already had them, and then they were able to choose us as their provider instead because their service was absolutely terrible. Well, they were going to cover our area with them. They didn't like it. We didn't like it. We all ended up losing our jobs, but it's okay. The main guy up here at the hospital said, you all have jobs here. You can come work here. You guys that were doing the tech stuff, you guys can come in. You can work in supply. You can work in, other tech jobs and stuff, because I had some credentials that allowed me to do more stuff than what the guys that were just delivery had, that I could work in respiratory. It was kind of cool. All right. But we lose all our tenure. No more vacation like where we were at. We lose everything. We're having to start all over at square one. Have to take a pay cut if we reapply and they decide to hire us. They don't have a position for us like they told us. We just have to reapply and hope that they can find some place to just stick us and take a pay cut to do so. I was like, no, I'm getting severance. So I'm going to take that severance. While I'm on severance, I'm going to start looking for another job. That's how I ended up down where I'm at now. But it was weird because right after I got those shots, like 2 weeks later, I got like super really like I wasn't feeling good like the next day after that. But then I started getting sick my sick time, I ended up just using my sick time. And I had already scheduled off like PTO days and stuff. So they had to grant them to me. If I hadn't had that, I would have been down. Thankfully, I had the severance that I could just like lay on the couch and die, but not a fan. And you know, Krista, that's an important thing is people don't do like actual research. They look at what they tell you. Yeah, I mean, I understand. You know, Pilgrim, you got to do what you got to do. I get that. I don't judge anybody for doing what they have to do. But if they have a choice in the matter and they're like all about it and like bragging about it and like shoving it in everybody else's faces and looking down on those of us who didn't do it and chose not to do it because we kind of saw the writing on the wall, we understood that it was in essence a bioweapon masquerading as a, but we decided not to do it, but then they want to shit on us, but then they're the ones ended up with all the health problems. Save me, save me, save me. Well, we tried to tell you. Well, how could you have known? Common sense. Yes, it does. It makes it way exponentially worse. But people doing research back then. I have a buddy who is in the army. He was a nurse, became a doctor. Um, he was one of the ships that was up in New York. And he told me some stuff that was going on with that, and I'm just like blown away. Um, but doing research, knowing some people that work in forensics pathology and forensics virology and doing that kind of stuff, I reached out to them early on and said, where's your stance? What are you looking at? What are you seeing? What's like the straight dope on this? And what they told me is one of the guys, he is a leading expert in virology. And he said, I have had 400 and some odd alleged samples of the Charlie 19er sent to my lab. He said, do you know how many viruses I've actually been able to isolate of that 400 and some odd samples sent to me? You know how many viruses I've actually been able to isolate out of any of those samples? DJ, welcome, sir. Get this. A forensic virologist could not isolate one single virus out of over 400 and some odd samples sent to him by the little g. Weird. Could not find a single virus in any of the samples sent to him of these people that allegedly had it. Not a single one. And he's one of the authorities in the matter in our nation. When he told me that, I was like, okay, so what's your view on this? He's like, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. They're using it for something else. And he's not of like the same mindset as me and most of y'all. He's more along the lines of, you know, not necessarily trust the science, but if he can produce the science to back it up, trust that. He's a factual, actual 100% black and white guy. He doesn't see the gray. Oh yeah, we have all kinds of labs all over the place. I have two family members that work in two different ones, and I know, well, him. He's a doctor and scientist, and he works in one out west. And I have another family member over on the west coast that works in a very similar lab. They isolate things. They go through testing on tissue samples, on you name it. I mean, they nerd out like CSI type shit. They do their thing. I mean, they're around to pick up when something is put out there. No, there's all kinds of two words for you. Plausible deniability. That's what it comes down to, Pilgrim. Talk about that kind of stuff in the podcast a few episodes back. If somebody else does it, but they pay for it, well, we were giving them funding, but we don't know what they were doing. What, you didn't have any oversight into that, and you're using tax dollars to pay for that? Weird. Weird. Justin, welcome, sir. I think I am going to break out a little bit of the punch chance. I ain't got nothing else to drink around here, and I kind of need a little, you know, not like a Johnny Depp or Girth Brooks. Just enough to get that little bit of a burn. It's kind of nice. Hey, what's this? Wow. ACR's video dropped, guys. It's out. Samsung privacy notice just hit. That's another thing. So, guys, I'm not going to keep y'all any longer. I'm going at 2.5 here. Let's see what DJ said here. I can neither confirm nor deny that the guy I have the connection to actually is at that place. Y'all do with that as you like. But coming up on 2.5 here. Wasn't expecting to be on this long here today because I got other stuff I'm trying to get to. But I thank you guys for joining me here. Replay crew, get in there, throw in you. Hey, I'm replay crew, but I'm just as cool. Appreciate it. Yeah, stuff's crazy, y'all. There's places all over the place you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know it. Hidden in plain sight in a lot of cases. So, but that being said, make sure you tune in. Catch us for Whiskey Wednesday, where we're going to have a topic of question marks. Not that we don't know what we're talking about. We talked about it here earlier. So we're going to come up with some stuff, some things, and some whatnot. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you had a good 4th and spend some time with your family and friends. Make memories. Don't make excuses. Okay. So you guys be safe. Stay tuned. Stay blessed. And until next time, guys, metal out.